Alright, so y'all let me know when y'all ready.
Go.
Okay. I'm David L. Archie, Vice President of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors. I want to thank the media for coming today. There's a few things that we must talk about in terms of what took place at the special Hinds County Board of Supervisors meeting on today. I called this meeting in this press conference, but the reason that I called this meeting in the press conference was because we believe that our president of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors is involved in corruption, nepotism, as well as power and control. And so, when you talk about those three things that are taking place, Hinds County Board of Supervisors operate on a unit system of government and not a beat system. So what that means is that the 5 supervisors represent the whole entire county. I want to talk about the reckless spending that took place first, and then we would move on to the president of this board, Supervisor Credell Calhoun. First of all, our president of the Hinds County Election Commission came before the board today to ask us for $60,000 in order to distribute pamphlets and information throughout this entire county. Well, this is not a county election. This is a municipal election that are happening throughout Hinds County. Every municipality is responsible for their own election. Now, when the question was asked several times in the board meeting on today, how is this money was going to be spent? Who were we paying to contract the delivering of pamphlets and information to the citizens? But not only that, Tony Johnson, who's the president of the board, said that she wanted the same amount of money for every district in Hinds County. Now, I want the citizens to understand that here in Hinds County, there are plenty rural areas, unincorporated areas, will not be voting in the municipal election. So I particularly asked the question, how is it that you're going to deliver pamphlets and information to those that are not going to be participating in this particular election? If you live in an unincorporated area in Hinds County and you do not live in the municipality, that means that you won't be voting in this particular election. And so none of those questions was answered when we talked about how the money was going to be dispersed. None of those questions was answered. This is not a grant that we received, the $1.5 million, money that needed to be spent and spent right away before, but this is Hinds County taxpayers' money. Now, let me bring you up to date just a little bit. When she first asked concerning providing money to be spent in the municipal election, it was $125,000. And this board, myself, asked the board attorney to speak with the Attorney General's office, the Secretary of the State office, as well as the State Auditor's office, to see whether or not $55,000 of taxpayers' money could be spent on delivering food in this entire county. There was $11,000 that Tony Johnson, once again, wanted to spend taxpayers' money illegally. $11,000 in District 1 and all the other districts, so it would equal to $55,000. And we found out that it was totally illegal, okay? We got information from the Attorney General office as well as the State Auditor office. Before asking for the $60,000 on today, she had mentioned that she wanted $45,000 to be spent on delivering information and pamphlets to the citizens of Hinds County. Less than about 3 or 4 days, that $45,000 went from $45,000 to $60,000, and that is what she approached the board with on this morning. And the question that she had stated before she asked for the money, that she had spoke to the supervisors. And my question to her, what supervisor did you speak to concerning this matter? She did not provide me an answer. She began to talk over the question that was asked. And so what we believe, that there are some corruption that is taking place in the election commissioner's office, and that was prepared to be voted on today by 3 board members. The president of the board in District 3, the District 4 supervisor, as well as the District 5 supervisor. So they knew that it was coming before this board in the amount and the money. And so what I'm simply saying, and I told them today that I was voting no, and that if it's found that this money is illegal money, that the president of the board, the District 4 supervisor, along with the District 5 supervisor, will be responsible for paying back $20,000 each. And that myself and Supervisor Robert Graham, who was not present this morning, would not be liable for that money. And so, when I talk about reckless spending, this is Hinds County money. This is the taxpayers' money. What we believe is that this president of this board is orchestrating corruption from the highest level in this county. In less than 5 months, we've made tremendous changes on the Hinds County Board of Supervisors. What we believe is that this president is putting his business going out to different department heads like Public Works, other department heads, in involving himself in day-to-day operation. That is prohibited under the unit system of government. There's a couple things that has taken place. One is that we believe that the president of this board, Supervisor Credell Calhoun, instructed our previous public work director to repave a road in a parking lot near the Metro Center. And because the previous public work director did not do what he asked because he knew that it was illegal, we believe that Supervisor Calhoun took it up on himself to immediately to find other information to make progress in terminating Thelma Board, who was a fine public works director. Now, you go from having a public work director with a superb record to being fired at one upcoming meeting. Corruption is all over that matter. And we believe that Supervisor Credell Calhoun have a history, not only in this city, in this county, but throughout this state, that is involved in political corruption. So we're asking that the State Attorney General, the State Auditor, as well as the Secretary of State take a good look at Supervisor Credell Calhoun. And I will send a letter to all of those agencies to ask them to do the same thing. Now, I am the president of this board, and the only person that the citizens of District of Hinds County can rely on at this moment is the vice president of the board. And that is why I'm here. That is why I'm at every meeting, to pay attention to what is going on and what is happening with the taxpayers' money. This morning, Supervisor Credell Calhoun made a motion to take $2.8 million of state aid money out of Hinds County District 2. The people in Hinds County District 2, where our current Congressman Benny Thompson lives, need roads repaired and repaved, and bridges need to be fixed. They're calling every day. Well, I want the citizens of Hinds County District 2 to know that it's this president, Credell Calhoun, made the motion to script the entire Hinds County District 2 of the monies that had been allocated, nearly $2.8 million. He want to throw the rock and hide his hand. And I will be sending a letter to Congressman Thompson explaining to him what took place in the district that he represents and the district that I represent. I am Congressman Thompson supervisor. And so I respect his opinion on many different things. And I can tell you that we don't believe that he would approve of what Credell Calhoun did this morning from the Hinds County Board of Supervisors. When we talk about day-to-day operation, all supervisors are forbidden from participating in day-to-day operation. It is our understanding that Supervisor Calhoun walks around with a big stick since he became the president of this board, threatening employees, calling employees out, saying that he has all the power here in Hinds County. Well, that is totally untrue. And so it takes someone like myself, who's not as they say, politician, but I see myself as a civil rights activist, as a community activist, and now a political activist. So I pay close attention to these matters that take place. On our previous board meeting, there were some employees that came from Henley Young Juvenile Detention Center. They was not getting the information that they needed to continue to do their job. And when they contact Supervisor Calhoun, he tells them that they can't come to the board meeting. The county administrator did not invite them to the board meeting. And as well as the person that is running the juvenile detention center did not give them permission to be at the meeting. Well, once again, when these employees contacted me, and I did not contact them, I invited them to the Hinds County Board of Supervisors meeting so they can have a discussion on what is taking place at the Henley Young Juvenile Detention Center. Well, what we believe, that because this has taken place, that this president of this board is going to try to take action against some of those employees that are Hinds County Juvenile Detention Center. So I wanted to be known what is going on behind closed doors and in the back rooms of Hinds County politics. The other thing that I want to mention to you that has recently took place is the transferring of longtime employees under this president's leadership. And he has no right to do that, but because he has been in several conversation with the administrator, in private conversation with the Hinds County administrator, we believe that many of these actions has gone on because of the president of the board. I instructed the county administrator today not to go into private meetings with the president of this board, Credell Calhoun, until this investigation is over with. And I'm gonna say it again. We instructed, not we, but I, as the vice president of this board, instructed the county administrator, do not go into private meetings with president of this board, Credell Calhoun, until some of these investigations are over with. He goes into the private meeting, instruct administrators to do certain things, which is totally forbidden. And so, and I also asked the administrator, before he goes into a meeting with the president of this board, to call up on either myself as president of the board or Supervisor Robert Graham, which is in District 1, and take one of us into the meeting so we can make absolutely sure that Credell Calhoun is not into day-to-day operation in this entire county. Now, it's been said all over this county that employees are sick and tired of the politics of Credell Calhoun. We believe he have a history of this type of politics. And now because he has the power as the president of this board, he want to fulfill some of those dreams that he have had for a long time coming. The other thing that I want to mention to you is that right now, we believe that this president is in discussion into bringing in outside sources to be over the Hinds County payroll. Now, not only would we have to pay to allow that to happen, nearly $150,000, then we would be paying an outside source to come in to run our payroll here in Hinds County. We smell a rat, and we believe that rat is the president of this board, Supervisor Credell Calhoun. That is what we believe, and that is what we think. It appears to this president of the board, since he has become the president, that he believes that everything in Hinds County is broken. Well, I'm here to tell you that everything in Hinds County is not broken. Some things are running very well. I want to tell you that as long as I am a member of the Hinds County Board of Supervisors, I'm going to ask questions. I'm going to challenge the status quo. And when it appears that things are not right, I'm going to go against the grain. I'm not going to go along to just get along in order to move on some items that this president of this board. So I invite the media from this day forward to be at every board meeting in the very near future of Hinds County. I don't want you to miss one meeting, because there will be things that are coming up that other supervisors are not notified in terms that will be on the agenda. And we only have an opportunity to question the matter when we receive the agenda the same way that you receive the agenda. This president of this particular board has been careless, has been reckless, and we believe that he's corrupt to the fullest. And that because he have the power, he even trying to move further down the road to make sure that this entire board is corrupt. We're not going to stand it. We're not going to go along with it. And we're going to continue to ask questions in this board. And the other thing that I want to tell you about that I did not mention in terms of that is going on, we have the integrity group that was brought into Hinds County to administer the $7 million rental assistance loan. It appears to me, when we are in conversation about this money, that this president of this board is not concerned whether or not the citizens, the landlords, are receiving the money. Because the question was asked today in this special meeting, why haven't the integrity group, which is from Florida, have not hired somebody locally to be in touch with the citizens here in Hinds County in case they need to walk into the office or fill out an application in terms of what is going on? They have no answer for that. When we spoke to the integrity group, when we gave them the contract to do business here with Hinds County and administer the loan, we asked this group, would they bring someone along, a local company, that can help administer the grant from a local level. There are people that do not know how to go to the computer. There are people that really don't know what's going on, and the information was not provided to them. So this local group, whether it's minority or non-minority, I was fighting for a minority group to participate in administering this $7 million. And so when the question was asked today in the meeting, had the integrity group have done a contract with a local group that can administer the money, the $7 million, with local people, where they can walk into the office. This president of this board wanted to walk all over that, like he had no concern. And I don't really believe at this point that this president of this board want or care about citizens of Hinds County. He only cares about the power, the control, and perhaps the corruption that we believe that he's involved in. Last but not least, Hinds County is not set up that where the president of this board can have a slush fund and to operate in the way that he chooses to operate, right? We are not having discussions on how to administer money here in Hinds County. We believe that he goes off into these private meetings, make a decision, and decide to come back to this board and throw it on the desk when the deal has already been cut on how to spend money here in Hinds County. And so what we are here to do is to represent the entire Hinds County. One other thing that I must mention to you is that the president of this board have some issues with board members that stands up to him, in particular me. Supervisor Graham has a lot of questions when it comes to the way that the president of this board operates. But because I thought that I had a relationship where I can talk to both sides, me being in the middle of Supervisor Graham and Supervisor Calhoun, perhaps we can work this matter out. Supervisor Calhoun feels, because that he's been involved in politics for the last 40 years, that he believes that everything that he say or does is correct. But I can tell you there are other things also that is going on, particularly the law enforcement facility that is coming up. We're going to have further discussion concerning that particular matter that Supervisor Credell Calhoun is right in the midst of. There's other projects that Supervisor Calhoun is right in the midst of. He's not going to run around here in Hinds County and just do what he chooses to do in terms of spending Hinds County and the taxpayers' money here in Hinds County. It was absolutely wrong today for this supervisor to make a motion to take money from Trotter Road, Adams Station Road, West County Line Road, and other roads that are out in West Rural Hinds County, where people are suffering because their bridges are closed down, where people are suffering because their roads are closed down. This supervisor put the icing on the cake today in order for this David L. Archie to come to the plate and come to the podium to tell exactly what is going on and what is taking place. At the end of the day, it does not matter to me how this supervisor thinks. What matters to me is what the citizens of Hinds County think. It matters to me that those that have been left out and locked out and have not had their tax money come back into their community, I am very concerned about it. And at the rate that it's moving, that this particular supervisor, he chooses not to operate on what is good and what is best for the citizens of Hinds County, but only what is good and what is best for him as a president, as a board of supervisor member. And at the end of the day, that is the bottom line. And the last thing I want to mention to you, and you can just check the record, since this president been the board president, there's been no females, none, hired in a leadership role or position in Hinds County. I don't know whether or not he got something against females or whether or not he just don't want females around, but at the end of the day, this president, just check the record, has not hired any females. Jennifer Riley Collins was the Hinds County administrator. He replaced her with a male. Thelma Board, who was over at the Hinds County Public Works, he replaced him with another male. Down at the Henley Young Juvenile Detention Center, someone that we got rid of when we first got here, Mr. Frazier, who's now operating down there. We have hired two males in that position. This president is not considering any females for leadership roles in Hinds County. And we're going to take a good look at that. And I'll take any questions that you have for me. Oh, one other thing. This is a good one. then this will be the last one, Kingfish. Dr. Jaffian was a grant writer. She was the one that was able to bring the $1.5 million in and other monies in. It is our understanding that Dr. Jaffian stepped down from being the Hinds County grant writer. This president of this board, I did not interview the next grant writer. I don't know where he came from and who he is, but it's our understanding that the president of this board, after Dr. Jaffian stepped down, that he went out and got somebody that has never written a grant before and placed that individual in position. Let me say that again. This president replaced Dr. Jaffian, who is a well-known grant writer, with someone that has never written a grant. Tell him to produce from this grant writer that's sitting in the seat here now in Hinds County. Tell him to produce some grants that was written by this particular grant writer, and you'll see what the facts are. We had a well-known, experienced and person with a lot of expertise, Dr. Jaffian. She stepped down, and she didn't only step down because that she just wanted to step down, but she believed in her mind that this president, once again, wanted her to do something that was totally illegal. And that is why she stepped down as the grant writer of Hinds County. So, to you, Mr. Credell Calhoun, who's the Hinds County president of this board, we're gonna watch you from this day forward. I want the citizens, the entire Hinds County citizens, to watch you from this day forward. In terms of your operation, in terms of your politics, and in terms of where you treat females and citizens of this county, we're going to be watching you from this day forward. I'll take any questions.
How long has it that the Board of Supervisors have felt this way about President Calhoun?
Starting in August of the previous year, right shortly before he became the president. That's when we noticed some things that was going on. It was this past August. And we kind of still was supporting some of his actions until when he actually took the seat of the presidency.
So from then until now, today's meeting was the icing on the case that really nipped it in the bud?
That really nipped it in the bud. And when I found out, and I just recently found this out from some of my investigation, that nepotism is taking place, that one of his relatives was hired and put in position here in Hinds County. And we want you guys to check that out. I'm not going to say who the employee is, but I'm telling you that we believe that nepotism is at its highest, that he was able to bring a relative here in Hinds County and put him in place in a leadership role and as a director of some of Hinds County, I would just say stuff. And that way you won't know where to go. You'll just know that it's taking place.
Is it everyone on the Hinds County Board of Supervisors that feel this way, or just a select few supervisors?
Absolutely not. I don't think that everyone on the Hinds County Board of Supervisors have the knowledge to think for themselves, to know exactly what's going on, to know how to investigate, to know how to check things out. And so you wouldn't look for everyone on the board to check the matter out.
The meetings
I've taken it up on myself to check the matter out.
The meetings are streamed online, but I've noticed that sometimes when you challenge or things get, the president or things get contentious, the county administrator suddenly turns off the video. Would you care to comment on that?
Yes, and I think they're in cahoots. And that's why I instructed the county administrator today. And let me tell you, I voted for the county administrator. And I think he's a pretty good county administrator. But what I told him today, I mean it from my heart. If you go into another meeting with this president of this board without another president present, a private meeting concerning county business, then we're going to take a hard look at the county administrator, period. And you're exactly right. And what we believe is that he tried to help make arguments for the president of this board. I saw that happen today. It took place today, where he would not allow the president to answer the questions that was asked of the president and also asked of Tony Johnson, which was before this Hinds County Board of Supervisors. He wanted to answer the question. So I had a conversation with him in front of other supervisors, in front of Vernon Gavin and Bobcat McGowan. And I instructed him not to go into another meeting privately with Supervisor Calhoun until we get this matter straightened out in terms of corruption.
Do you think the stream should be turned off?
Absolutely not. I think it should stay on all the time. I wouldn't mind if it was on in the executive sections. I don't have a problem. Don't have anything to hide. I want to stay on all the time.
Also, the $2.8 million you took out of your district, does that leave you with any road money from the state package, or what do you have left?
Well, even though that he made the motion to take it all, there are some rules and laws that are in place where he won't be able to take it all. And that is the only reason that it won't come.
But if it did, how much would it leave you in your road budget?
From state aid money, it would leave zero amount.
And how much would the other districts be getting?
Some of the money, he didn't say where the money was going to go, but he made the motion that the money would go in District 1, which only have a portion of a state road, which is County Line Road. District 3 have no state aid roads, but the money is going to District 4 and District 5. And by the way, and you can go back and you can pull the tape on a few years ago, where this supervisor and his wife, who was Peggy Hobson Calhoun, made a big mess concerning my predecessor, along with the District 5 supervisor, was aimed to take $750,000 that my predecessor made the motion to move $750,000 from District 3. Let me go back now so we can get a good understanding. This president of this board, before he was here, his wife was the president of the board, and they made a big deal out of the District 2 supervisor, which is my predecessor, wanted to take $750,000 away from District 3. And now this president of this board has came in and did the exact same thing that he accused of my predecessor of doing, removing money from a district that needed the work. And at that time, we believed that District 3 perhaps needed the money. But because of the politics that are being played, now this supervisor is doing the exact same thing that he accused my predecessor of doing. And I think you remember that, Kingfish.
Is there anything that you can recall as Calhoun that has been the president? Is there anything that you can say that he's done good? It seems like there's a lot of bad that you...
Well, you know, there are some things that we agree upon that we think that goes along pretty good. But this moment here is at the highest level of corruption, nepotism, and power and control. And I want to stop it now before we get out of hand. I want the people to understand here in Hinds County that I'm going to fight for those that want tax dollars spent in and around their community. Whether you in a poor community or a rich community, whether you in rural Hinds County or in the capital city. I want to do things right. And this is completely about the president of this board coming in, doing his very best to utilize his power. And because he's been involved for 40 years, he knows a few tricks. And he used it not only against the board, but against the people of Hinds County. The people of Hinds County is the one that suffer. And so I'm here to make absolutely sure that people in West Rural Hinds County understand that it is all because of Credell Calhoun, who made this motion to take $2.8 million away from their community. And we're going to invite everybody from District 2 to come down to this board on, I believe it's June the 7th at 9 o'clock, so they can voice their opinion on the low down and dirty politics that this president of this board have created.
What's been his response?
Pardon me?
What's been his response?
Why don't you check him out and see do he have any response? And don't let him mumble jumble. Tell him to get straight to the point. Mumble jumble means that he's trying to talk over the question that you ask. Get him to answer the question, and if he don't answer the question, come back and ask the same question again. Anything else? Thank you guys.